All right, we're gonna do kind of I would say it's gonna be short, but you never know. Do a video today on something I got for the tea. Well, something Mom and Dad got me for the tea. They just got back from vacation, and while they were doing their loop through out west, they stopped at the Charles City Museum, because we've tried going there 3 or 4 times now, and up to this point, every time we went, they've been closed, and Mom and Dad finally went out there, and they were open, so Dad finally got to go through the museum. But while they were there, I sent them the serial number off of the tea, and they got me a copy of the build card. So we'll go through this real quick. So obviously, I'm gonna set this, we're gonna set this where it's flat. I was gonna do this outside because it's better lit, but it's blowing enough now that I didn't want my paper scattered all over Billy Hell, so let's do this. We can put them here. Pardon me for a minute here. Okay, so this is a photocopy of the actual build card. They obviously aren't they don't give you your actual build card because they're keeping them for the archives, but if you call in, they'll give you a photocopy, and basically they're just punch cards. This is when a tractor got ordered, it went through, got punched out on a punch card, and then as it was going out down the line, this punch card would have went down the line with the tractor, and parts would have been added according to what these numbers mean. And you got A through Z. Each one of those specifies a certain option on the tractor, and then these numbers up here are how the tractor's optioned. So like for section A is a 475, so you go down your line, first digit is punched out as a 4, second digit is punched out as a 7, third digit punched out as a 5, so 475 and on down the line. And then this number right here in this box is your overall spec number. And then on the back, these handwritten notes, they obviously handwrite on the serial number. 2/22 of 68, so February 22nd of 1968 was the completed build date. 2/24 of 68 was the ship date. And the 9D211 is the dealer code, or the code for the actual dealership. However, because so much information was lost through time, nobody is left around, and there is no information regarding how to decode that to tell the exact number or the exact dealer. All that this will tell you is at some point it was in Hoagland, Indiana. That's Hoagland, Indiana. I don't know. I looked it up. It's over just south of it's over by Fort Wayne, just south of it. So she's a little ways from home. We always thought she was a local tractor, not so much. I don't know, maybe there's somebody watching from over in that area that might remember an Oliver dealership in Hoagland or close to it. Because I don't believe that was a branch house. I mean, I could believe that they might have had a branch house in Fort Wayne because it's a larger city, but you look that up, it's just a little teeny tiny burg in the middle of bumfuck Egypt. I can't believe there would have been a branch house there, so I got a feeling that's where the dealer was, but unfortunately, without a way to decode that number right there, you can't get a dealer name from it. So that's the build card, and then to decipher this, you need the decoding sheet. And again, because so much information was lost through time, somebody actually had to go through with this option sheet, and these are the specific build codes, or yeah, you want the spec. These spec numbers coincide on this card, so somebody had to go through and line for line each of these spec codes correlate this to build cards and have multiple build cards in your hand with multiple options and get everything figured out to finally come through with all this. So a 475 adjustable front regular tread Oliver, and if it was like say a 480, it would have been adjustable front regular tread Cockshut, Ricefield, Wheatland, and yada yada yada. B 423 turbo diesel row crop, and on down the line. I'll skip over most of this and just hit some of the spots that are of interest. So area E, or line E here for the PTO. So E 427. This tractor was originally optioned with a 540 single speed PTO. It now has a dual speed PTO. And I noticed when I was cleaning it up to take it to the tractor pull, how I never noticed it before, I don't know, but I noticed it when I was taking the 3-point off. Oliver 1850 written in paint pencil. So it makes sense. At some point somebody added a 2-speed 540,000 PTO unit to this thing off of an 1850, because it was ordered as a 540 only single speed. So build card helped to clarify that, because my first thought was maybe something went wrong with a PTO housing, or they smoked a clutch or whatever, and it was cheaper to buy an entire PTO unit. Well, apparently somebody bought it, wanted a dual speed, so they changed it. So there's that. For the hydraulics, I don't know why he wrote 430 and then highlighted it, because 430 is right here. Category 2 draft control, hydroelectric, yada yada yada. What was another one of interest here? It was ordered on 18438s with cast rims. It was ordered with one set of wheel weight. Item number J27. So you go to J and it's 2 digits and 27. And then it was ordered with the over-under, regular tread rear axle. And here's one that I wanted to point out. Actually, here's two I wanted to point out. So under accessory, T is 33. Apparently, again, because so much information was lost, there is line items for this that nobody was able to identify exactly what it means, because the spec sheet that correlates exactly to this build card was lost to time thanks to White Motor. So there is a line item for accessory in number 33, but nobody was able to identify what it is. So here, the only thing that they were able to identify is double load uninstalled. And then same thing here, sheet metal grill dash and instruments. Apparently they found a build card with a number 555 on it, question mark. They were not able to identify, because they didn't have any paperwork to correlate it, what 555 meant on a build card. And then this one, the T is spec'd out as a 559. Well, apparently in this information right here, they were never able to find an option code for 559 to know what it means, so it doesn't tell you what it's supposed to be. And then it was ordered, you could either order it with or without batteries, and this one was ordered with. Oh, and no, I don't think it's on here. So there's that, and then when you get your build card, they give you this, which is the spec sheet and the prices for each added on option, and you can correlate this with this with this. So base 1950T, which, just to go through it real quick, a regular equipment on a basic tractor. Let me just pick out the stuff here that's a little off the wall. The 540 single speed was standard equipment. Standard transmission with just a straight shaft was standard equipment. Surprisingly, on a 1950T, a Category 3 6,000 pound hitch was standard equipment. I figured a Cat 2 would have been standard and you had to upgrade to a Cat 3, but a Cat 3 was standard. I think those were the big ones that stuck out a little bit. So, but those are also the ones that are going to come into play here in a minute. So base price for a 1950T would have been, and this is for 1968, would have been $9,984. And then on this one, they optioned out a standard 6-speed with an over-under, so that would be an addition. So that would have added an additional $520 to that price. For power takeoff, they would have had the 540 single speed, so that was in the base price. Steering, the tilt-a-scope steering was standard equipment, and then adjustable. Apparently, all the axle options were the same price, because adjustable wide front is base price, and then all the other axles are same price. So. And then, since it was ordered with a Category 2 hitch and Category 3 was standard, there was actually a deduction. So to drop down to a Category 2 hitch, you actually drop $51 off of the price. Same thing, and that would have been for the hydraulics themselves with a Cat 2 hitch. And then for just going with the Cat 2 hitch was an additional deduction of $119. Front wheels, the 11L15s were base price. And then all that's continued. Rear wheels, the 18438 was base price. Standard, this has got the 105-inch max axles, that's base price. The flat top fenders were standard, base price. The seat, they only had the one seat, that was in the base price, and then 2 dry cell batteries were in the base price. If you took the batteries off, it was a deduction of $33.50. And then the rear wheel weights, since they had 2 of them on it, or 2 weights, 1 pair, that was an addition of $47. Did not. And then some of the other stuff you could have got, you could have ordered it with the long pinion shaft for front wheel assist, cab, which this tractor had a cab on it. I never saw it because the guy we bought it from had taken it off. And there is this 389 handwritten on the back of the build sheet. And there is no 389. Actually, I don't think there's any 300 codes on here whatsoever. I think I looked. I'm wondering if that 389 might have something to do with the cab, but that's just a theory. Oh, and then the other thing, where was it? We got to go back. We got to go back to rear wheels. I can't remember where it's at now. But it was also spec'd out with the single flange standard row crop hubs, which is what it had on it when we got it, and then I added the dual hubs. So build card says it was ordered with the single flange hubs. I can't remember if that was, I can't remember if I saw that in here or in here. But anyway, regardless, when you go through and you add up everything on here, minus the cab, because it says cabs, C index tractor cabs, and that's not on here. So I have to add a touch more to this for the price for the cab, as if it was ordered from the factory with a cab. So somebody paid approximately $10,381 for this thing in 1968. The crazy part is, you plug that into an inflation calculator, it would have been equivalent to $88,349.17 today, which I think was, if I remember right, the calculator told me it was a 751% increase in price. And then this is my official certificate of ownership with my model number, serial number, spec number. Well, I guess that'd be the lot number, not the spec number. Engine serial number. Production date, 22nd of February 1968. Shipment date, 24th February 1968. Shipped to Hoagland, Indiana. And by the way, it could have gone either way. It could have been ordered in. It was a fairly base model tractor. Basically, I'd basically call it a base model because they jumped down to a Cat 1 hitch. It was a 540 only tractor. I mean, it was basically optioned down almost as far as you can go. I think the only way you can go any further down is if you got 18434s on the back instead of 18438s. So it very well could have been ordered in as like a dealer stock tractor to have on the lot. But I would be curious to know if there was a dealer in Hoagland, Indiana. So, but it was nice to see that the engine serial numbers handwritten on the back, because basically when they were going down the line, when they dropped the engine in the frame, whoever was working that part of the line would have wrote that on there so that they could track the engine with the tractor. Because obviously they wouldn't know what engine's going in it when they punch the card. So since the 1955 does not have a serial number tag on it because reasons, it's good to know I can get the serial number off the block, and as long as it's the block that belongs with the tractor, which it should be because it's a 310, if it was blown up, chances are it would not have got another 310 put back in it, or it would have got scrapped. But crazier things have happened, but chances are it's the factory block for the tractor. But knowing that, I can call Charles City up, give them the serial number off of my engine, and it might take a little bit more digging than normal, but they should be able to find the build card with my engine serial number and give me a build card for the 1955. And then that would also give me the serial number so that I can put a serial number plate back on it. So I think I'm also going to get one for the 1600 while I'm at it. Dad thought we had one for the 1800, but I do not remember getting one for the 1800. I just remember having one for the Super 55. But once you get back past the Super Series, and even into some of the Super Series, they get really flaky on build card availability because White Motor Corporation. Dad actually worked with one of the places Dad worked when I was a kid. Actually, it was the place Dad worked when I was a kid before he started his own business. He worked with an engineer that did his apprenticeship at the Oliver South Bend plant. And when he started his apprenticeship was right after White took over the Oliver Corporation. And it was like within his first day or so of his starting his apprenticeship, one of the first jobs he had at the plant was they took him back into the archive room at South Bend, and obviously they had shelves and shelves and shelves of manuals and build code information and lot number information, all those records that they would have kept. And he said there was stuff going back to the horse-drawn days. Basically they walked him back in the room, and whoever was in charge of the situation at that point walked him back to a point on the shelf, and he said, everything from this point back, throw it in the dumpster outside. And the guy, he didn't grow up on a farm, he wasn't involved in farming, didn't know anything about farm equipment, but he said, even as somebody that didn't know a damn thing about farming, he said it damn near brought him to tears, some of the stuff he was throwing out, because there were dates going clear back to the 1870s, 1860s, back when Oliver was first getting, like the first Oliver stuff thrown in a dumpster and thrown away. And that's what corporations do. They ruin everything. Still to this day. But anyhow, I just wanted to, since I got the build card for the old girl, figured we'd do a breakdown of it real quick. Like I say, I actually probably won't get it done today, but tomorrow I should call and give him the engine serial number off of the 1955 and give him the serial number off to 1600 and get build cards coming for those two. I should ask if they got any combine stuff. The other thing we found out, because when that mom and dad were out there, I gave them the serial number off of the 4150. And apparently anything after 1974, they have a really limited selection, and the newer it gets, the less selection they have, because apparently what did Dad say the point was? It would have been when, who would have owned them at that point? It was at the point when they got bought out and joined the New Idea conglomerate. I can't remember if that's when Texas Instruments owned them for a short period of time. But anyway, about that time period was the time when Floyd County was able to go get their stuff. And basically, same thing, when they bought them out, they said, okay, anything from this date forward, we're keeping. Anything from this date back, you're keeping, or you can have. So once they get past 1974, and they said they don't have anything on the 4150s at all. So I'm guessing that some stuff like the 2105s would probably be flaky. They might not have it. I don't know if they have any stuff for the Olivers built in 74 and 75 or not. Because technically the last 2255 was built in 76. So I don't know if they have any stuff for the Olivers built after that or not. But, and then now, and also all the stuff built after that was not a punch card style like that. It was different. But anyway, now Agco owns all the stuff, and for some reason they won't let it go. It does nothing for them, which it's stupid, because I guess a lot of the reproduction parts that Agco produces for the older stuff was actually reproduced from factory blueprints that Floyd County Museum got as part of the deal. So they've actually gone to Floyd County Museum, copied the blueprints, and worked with them on reproducing parts. Why can't you let them have all of the build card shit for the rest of the Charles City equipment? But I should ask if they have anything on the combines and see if I can get one for the 7300. I doubt it, but you never know. So anyhow, that's the build chart information for the 1950T. She's got a birth certificate now. And like I say, if there's anybody that knows if there would have been a dealer in Hoagland, Indiana, that's the name of the town right there, let me know, because it'd be interesting to find out. So, anyhow, I guess that's it for this one, and we'll catch you guys on the next one.